Hey, how's it going? In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at large language model and what this concept is. Let's take a look at what that is. A large language model refers to a machine learning system designed to comprehend and produce human-like text. These models undergo training on excessive data sets, encompassing diverse text sources from the internet. It says internet, but it's not necessarily limited to internet, right? Perhaps from different databases and scraping that data, perhaps from internet, then using any information from the internet is that not necessarily best information, since there might be misleading information or whatever the case might be, right? From different data, right? As well as there's different types of information. Sometimes perhaps that information not most accurate information that you can find in the internet, right? The training process involves two main phases: pre-training and fine-tuning. Let's start with pre-training, and from there we'll jump into fine-tuning. Pre-training. During pre-training, the model learns to generate language patterns by trying predict the next words in a sentence. This foundational training equips with a model with an understanding of grammar, context, and language structure. So this is where most other models would start with. So very basic level, right? So if you have, I don't know, 7, 8 year old, perhaps that's a good place to start, right? You would teach very fundamental things when it comes to grammar, context, and language structure. Yes, it's a good example. I don't know. Following pre-training, the model can be fine-tuned by a specific task or domains using task-specific data, adjusting its parameters accordingly from there. So once you have fundamental, you can improve on top of that, because there's so many different dictionaries and ways how anyone can express themselves. Let's say, let's put things in this kind of perspective. The term large in the large language models denotes the number of parameters the model possesses. For instance, I would rather skip this part where I should promote any one of those projects up there, just in case everything would go south. I don't know. Either way, so there are top projects who currently are on the top. So most likely, some of the projects, right, comprises of 165 billion parameters, right, as well as how those models got access to some of those parameters. I don't know if this information is accurate, but some of those language models gain access to some of that data, not entirely in the best possible or ethical way, in my opinion, right? In the eyes of law, perhaps, if you would ask me how some of those language models got access to those 175 billion parameters, ah, but feel free to do your own research, right? Make it one of the largest language models, right? Because if I would do something like that, I would be burned at the stake, I guess, in the city center, certainly, right? Well, either way. So if I would decide to run my business in that particular way, because I can, either way, it doesn't matter. The abundance of parameters enables the model to capture instincted patterns and nuisance in the data. So all the fine-tuning process would go need as many data points, right? Even if they have 175 billion parameters, that's not necessarily enough, right? We can perhaps use even more and more data to fine-tune even better, right? How they capturing all those 175? I don't know. I don't know. Do you want cool projects or not, right? They might have access to all data available up there, right? For as long as they weren't gonna start profiting from those projects, perhaps then where are we gonna draw a line, right? What kind of 175 billion we're talking about? How are we accessing that data in the first place, as well as how once this has been built using our resources, later they will perhaps start to monetize all projects. Perhaps that would be backlash there. Large language models exhibit a generative capability, allowing them to produce coherent and contextual relevant text given a prompt. Uh, it's text. We're focusing a lot on text, but perhaps I'm not entirely sure if it's only text, right? Perhaps in the future they're gonna be able to see text, right? So not the as well as on top of seeing text or reading pictures, whatever is in the picture. So there might be some core product might stay the same, but on top of that might be different formats that we can add on top of this particular model of business, right? As well as seeing text and perhaps audio as well. Since every video that would make, there's would be a script of that video, right? And perhaps some of those models will be able to read that script in the first place. And by using that script, they can improve themselves as well as understand video, right? If that makes sense, as well as perhaps see images at some point, perhaps not in the beginning, but later on. Their versatility extends to various natural language processing tasks, including text completion, summarization, as well as translation and or creative writing. So there's a lot of use cases. That's just a few, right? I can see benefits that can offer, but again, if it's gonna be source code, I'm gonna be free to use for everyone, which would be great. So we're building something all together, so it would be for everyone to use, if that makes sense. Instead of perhaps this kind of project is gonna be in the hands of the few, if that makes sense. Development by entities like OpenAI, right? Even the name itself, OpenAI should be open, right? If that makes sense. All the information should be readily available to everyone. So that what it should mean is it if it's really open, or it becomes a business after some time where everything's closed, right? So closed AI. These models have widespread applications across fields such as natural language understanding and generation, chatbots, and context creation. Despite their utility, large language models raise ethical concerns related to biases in training data, potential misuse, and environmental considerations due to the resource required to their mass scale training. So that's just a few pushback as well as some of the benefits, right? If you're interested in learning more about where to begin when starting your own first business, I have published a book, Where to Begin Then Setting Up Livestock Enterprise. In this book, I'm sharing a lot of information which I personally believe would be very important for any of you who are just starting off, venturing into setting up your first business. That would be progression from zero to first $10,000 euros pounds milestone, right? And how you can set yourself different milestones and how you can achieve those. It's good to have targets, right? Hopefully to achieve those. And I'm focusing a lot on how to achieve this first milestone. That would be working your way from zero, if that's where you find yourself, and it comes to making profit, right? You can find it in the description below, as well as a QR code in the corner. Large language models, I can understand benefit that they can offer, in particular perhaps having a need of having something like administration staff. Now myself, then I would reach out to many different organizations, institutions, in particular working for government. Usually, my message when I'm reaching out, they don't necessarily understand what I'm mean, what I'm looking for, what the kind of support I'm looking for. So the current system, from my personal experience, is a mess. Especially then I'm considering about how much it can potentially cost to build that system in the first place for taxpayers, right? So once the system has been built, great. Perhaps we can outsource everything to a software. That's even an option, right? So then we can release some of those tax money to other causes, or perhaps pay less taxes, even better. That's even an option of there. So I can stand a value there. When it comes to outsourcing some of the tasks, who wants to sit in the office all day? I don't know. Let's go back in the fields again. Some stuff like that. I don't know. But this current system, then reaching out to some of those government institutions and those institutions not being effective and solving my problem. So if we are looking for solutions, perhaps large language models might be a solution to go ahead forward, right? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.